the Chiefs re-signing Dwayne Bowe, adding Donnie Avery,
which I told you they were going to re-sign Bowe.
I think you did, and I kind of didn't think they were going to do it. That one did surprise me. I'll give you that.
They signed him for pretty big money.
5 years, $55 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's overpaying. For
I
Bowe.
do too,
especially when a guy like Welker is getting $6.
Yeah, and
I think that's overpaying.
Like I said, I was just very surprised they brought him back. I really thought Bowe wore out his welcome there. So yeah, you called it. I was surprised by that. They didn't stop there, though, because they also brought in Dunta Robinson for their secondary and Mike DeVito for their defensive line. I don't think Anthony Fasano is that big.
Yeah, we all know they're bringing in Alex Smith.
Look, I'm telling you right now, Kansas City has definitely made themselves better than a 2-win team.
Yes, they have.
And they also said, I like the Dunta Robinson.
Definitely better than a 2-win team.
I like the Dunta Robinson signing for the fact that you are going to be you have to play against Peyton Manning
good
and
move.
Phillip Rivers every year, twice a year. I know Phillip Rivers has struggled, but let's be serious here. Phillip Rivers still is a pretty good quarterback in the NFL. So I like the Dunta Robinson signing. And the fact of the matter is, Robinson just is a tough-nosed dude. Like, I actually, like, to me, I feel like he's more of an old-school corner than of today's day and age, where he's more than willing to just rock your world.
And you've seen him
if
do
you come
that.
across the middle. Yeah, I mean, the hit him and Deshaun Jackson had, where they both had to get help off the field
absolutely.
like 2 years ago, was that was a man hit.
So my question now, with all these moves that Kansas City makes, they got that number 1 pick. I mean, I think they're pretty well set in terms of weapons on the offense. They're still bringing back Jamal Charles. As far as I know, I think Peyton Hillis might be back with them. They add Donnie Avery. They still have John Baldwin at wide receiver. Do they use that to go after offensive line help? Because it seems to me that's the big area of need right now.
They have to. I mean, we listened to them talk about this on the radio on our ride down here, and talking about the bottom line is the thing with them is, can they get out of the number 1 pick? Because the top 10, 15 picks, you're going to be able to get a tackle that most teams believe you can start this year.
Yeah, that would be a good one. You trade that first-round pick, try to get a late first, late second, maybe mid-first, mid-second, something like that. Go after offensive line help. Use them both on offensive line. And then
but why wouldn't you take the top offense? You can't trade back that far and get top offensive line. That's actually who they're projected to draft. Is kid Jake Jokel.
Yeah.
Well, I just
offensive
wonder,
tackle who apparently when he had his pro day at the school, every single NFL team, all 32 teams had representatives there to watch this kid. So and he is what they're saying is the best offensive line prospect out there, and he's projected to go number 1 to the Chiefs. So I don't think they should trade back to get an offensive lineman when they could take the best one in the draft right there at number 1.
Well, yeah. Again, you guys know the college scene a little bit better than I do. It does depend on the depth of the talent pool. If you can get the best player in the draft, offensive lineman at the area of need, number 1 pick, you do it.
He's not going to survive to the middle of the first round.
The other attitude, though, is that rather than going after the one big one, when you're Kansas City and you need a ton of stuff, if you can get a mid-first and still get a comparable lineman, obviously, like you said, you're not going to be able to get the best one, but if there's a lot of line depth in the middle of that first round, you can get a good one and still add a decent either offensive lineman or
but the way with the new CBA and the way the rookie pay scale is, it's not as expensive for teams to sign that number 1 pick anymore.
See, I'm not even saying it from that perspective.
Well, I'm saying it from that perspective because it makes the value of that number 1 pick even higher.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of teams are going to give up where Kansas City wants to get to move back.
And you could be right. But I'm saying if they look at it from a depth perspective, then trying to do that would work out for them. And because teams don't have to spend a lot of money on that first-round pick, to me it makes it gives the team that wants that number 1 pick, it gives them more incentive to go after it. But yeah, if the deal's not there, obviously you're going to take the best player available in the number 1 spot. But I'm saying if you got a ton of holes like Kansas City has, sometimes getting quantity is a little better than getting, the number 1 guy. I mean, I'll compare it to the Rams last year trading the number 2 pick to get all those draft picks they got.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that the Chiefs should just take that offensive lineman first overall and kind of call it a day there. I mean, maybe you trade back to the middle and maybe you're lucky enough to get a DJ Fluker instead. Again, it's still, I don't really see it happening.
The only thing I'd say when it comes down to the trade is if you can move back like maybe 4 or 5 spots.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact that like we were listening, some people apparently Geno Smith is gaining momentum as a possible top 5 draft pick. So if you are Kansas City, it's up to you to try and raise the value of Geno Smith as well.
True.
So that teams want to move up for that pick, and you end up sitting there and move back maybe 4 or 5 spots. You still get a tackle that you believe you can start. Let them get their quarterback that I think would be a total waste to make that trade to move up like that. I think people would be insane to do it. The Redskins set the price last year with RG3.
True.
You want to move up, you're trading 3 first-round draft picks to get a guy. You want to get to that number 1 pick, and you believe that much into the guy. You're trading 3 first-round picks, and I don't think Geno Smith is relevantly even close to 3 first-round picks worth of value.
I agree with you.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.